Warning, the following podcast has been rated P for pearl clutching. The following podcast may contain seeds of video games, television programs, and music of varying sorts. Also, there are queer trans women involved, so ooh, scary. Also, this podcast may contain scenes of a graphical nature. If you are the kind of person with a visual imagination, I'm not, so I guess I get away with it, but you might be like, ooh, oh no, ah, and stuff. Anyway, you have been warned.
Greetings, strangers, queer and pleasant. I'm not Laura Kate Magnet Dale.
And I'm not Jane Aerith Magnet Dale, and welcome to another episode of Queer and Pleasant Strangers. It's a podcast where two queer trans ladies have a bit of a catch-up, get on with what we've been up to in our weeks, do some silly voices and skits. How has your week been?
Ah!
I mean, that was quite a high inflection. Ah! Didn't sound like the worst one.
Yeah, I mean,
You've had worse screams of despair.
It's been tiring, but nonetheless,
Yeah.
I am still somewhat exhausted by it all.
It's been an alright one, I think.
Yeah.
We've gotten through, we've
Yeah,
done
we got
it,
through.
we've done
We will
another
talk-
one.
We will talk about all the many things as we go
Yeah.
on.
Well, should we start with the things we played?
I think you should probably start this, because I've played one game this week.
I mean, I've not played much this week. I played Pokemon Legends Arceus because I'm still trying to get that last little handful of shiny Pokemon that I'm trying to get.
And you got 6, didn't you?
I've got there was 6 species, maybe 7 species I needed, and I found 3 of them in one stream.
Nice.
I knew from the start it was going to be a good one. I did a stream with Lucy from Convoke, the band that did Spread Your Wings, which we mentioned briefly last week.
And we got to play it.
Yeah, we did, and yeah, I'm credited on that song, so I can play it on Twitch and not get in trouble. Yay!
And also, I think Lucy said live on stream that they would fight any...
I have a letter that says I'm allowed to play it whenever I like. But yeah, doing a stream where we were just chatting about music-y things, and I found a shiny nose pass, which I needed to evolve into a Probobass, 5-10 minutes at most into the stream.
Nice.
I also found a shiny... what were the other ones I needed?
You got an alpha something.
Yes, I got a shiny alpha, I think it was the Lilligant, with the new regional evolution form of Petalil. And what was the other one? Gligar, that could evolve into Gliscor, which is a big bat. But I'd never seen the shiny version of it before. It's light blue and yellow, and that's a really nice colour combo. It's a lot lighter than, say, a shiny Psyduck, but it's a very very light blue, and it was real neat.
Uh-huh.
It's always a surprise when I occasionally haven't checked a shiny in advance and get to be oh, that's a cool colouring I didn't know about. I am very close to being done with that particular Pokemon, so I can move on to other ones for completing that shiny list.
Just in time for Violet and Scarlet.
Yeah, Scarlet and Violet's in I've got maybe 6 months to try and crack some more of this list out, and I've got under 150 species total series left.
That's a
left
generation.
To get. I've got about 1 generation left to do, so
Wow.
I think it's Gen 9 that's coming up, so I've essentially done 7 out of 8 generations of Pokemon, full living shiny decks, and the end is in sight. What will I do with myself afterwards other than wait for more Pokemon games to continue the quest? Because there'll always be more. But yeah, I really like Legends Arceus, and I'm excited. Every time I go back to it, I'm oh yeah, this, but with gyms and trainers on the overworld. Oh hell yeah, I am ready for the future of Pokemon. What about you? What was the one thing you played this week?
I played Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga.
You've had some issues with this game's pacing of content, I think it's fair to say.
Yes. And oh god. Okay, so I've played a lot of Lego Star Wars games.
Yeah.
In fact, I've played most of the Lego Star Wars games. In fact, most of the Lego games of this sort of style of
the Traveller's Tale style. Go get all the little bits and
get all the studs,
unlock a million characters.
Unlock a bunch of characters. One of the few things I will do is periodically go through another Lego game, and then I'll post my completed screen.
Yeah.
And social media and just go, I did another one, everybody. I feel proud of my achievement today.
Some of them you've had more problems with completing than others, but generally, I feel like this one's annoyed you more than most early on.
Yeah. So, you're right about the pacing thing. First of all, I think, so I started with episode 1, Phantom Menace.
That makes sense as a place to start.
It's a sensible place to start. That's not the default starting position. When you go new game, it will automatically put you to episode 4.
Oh, so
I think that's a mistake.
Yeah,
I will explain why in a minute.
I mean, even without knowing why from you, I feel like if you're going to put the whole Skywalker saga into one thing, like, episode 1 through to episode 9 is the order to do it, I feel like.
I feel like at this point that's fine.
Yeah.
So, yes, the first problem is, I was like, I'll just get episodes 1, 2, and 3 out the way because I'm not even angry at them anymore. I had time for that in the 90s, in the very 99, wasn't it? Episode 1.
I mean, I honestly don't dislike them. I find they're kind of cheesy and they have their problems, but like going in knowing what to expect, I kind of don't. I don't really dislike them.
It's fine, but like,
Yeah.
I think Attack of the Clones is over CG'd. I think that there is too much politics in episode 1.
Yeah.
Episode 3 is probably the best of the lot, and it still has kind of too much politics in it.
You don't enjoy discussions of trade navigation routes. No. The Senate will convene later about these galactic senators.
Yeah. Yep, that's all going to happen.
The original trilogy has an identity crisis, undoubtedly, of not knowing what it wants to be or who it wants to be for.
So the prequel trilogy, definitely suffers from like too much politics. It is the Babylon 5 of the Star Trek. Star Trek. Ooh, that's going to get some people. It's the Babylon 5 of the Star Wars universe. I feel.
I feel like, though, having not played these 3 in this Lego Star Wars game, like, I don't dislike the general overarching plot. It's the execution of the specifics in those movies. And I feel like the Lego game's style of slightly comedy pastiching over the general overarching plot could work really well to make this
indeed
decent...
indeed did in the original Lego Star Wars game.
Oh, but
because
it's
the very
different in
first
this.
Lego... Well, this is the problem. Like, for the longest time, I thought Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga was going to be the original, the original one, the Lego Star Wars 2, the original trilogy, and then Phantom Menace, Force Awakens, which they'd already done a Lego game of, and then just added 2 more games. That is not what they've done at all.
That's what I assumed as well, if I'm honest, and that's why I was like willing to give them a lot of leeway for all the delays this game got, because it was like, I mean, you're taking a lot of existing games and making them work together in one package, and making a couple of new games to finish it off. No.
They've completely remade everything.
That seems like a lot of wasted effort and energy.
And like, okay, I can see that they wanted to do kind of their own thing. I can see that, like, maybe they felt that some things just didn't work as well in 16:9 or whatever, because most of those were designed for 4:3 systems.
Yeah.
Like, this was most of these games were a long fucking time ago, and that's fine.
Yeah, but
I was ready for an update.
I was just assuming modernised remake of the same thing, so it would be essentially the thing you'd played before.
That is not what this is.
Nope.
So the first thing that I struggled with in this is the delineation between here is a hub area,
yes,
and here is a level.
Yes.
Because very often you'll go into like a big glowing thing on the floor, like you'll walk to this area and it'll be like, do you want to continue the story? Okay, I'll continue the story. And it's like, well, I assume I'm in a level now because there seems to be some kind of scripted fight going on.
Yeah.
That would happen in this area.
You've been loaded into a new place where events are occurring.
Not even necessarily loaded into a new place, but sort of moved slightly from where you were, or some set pieces have been set up.
You've activated the plot, and that generally happens in levels.
Yep. Not necessarily the case. Sometimes you might just have like well, we've already created this in the hub area, so we're just going to make you do this scene with some Tusken Raiders. You're going to do that in an overworld area. and then you're going to walk to another area and walk into a circle, but that might actually be a level.
Okay, and I'm guessing that makes it difficult to know what level of thoroughness of exploration you should be doing at any given moment.
Exactly.
Because,
So the initial thing is, I've got into whatever the next thing is, I hit something made of Lego to turn it into pips, and then, depending on whether I just have a big number that is totting up or 3 individual bars, I know whether I am in a level, which will help me generate to True Jedi.
Yes.
And therefore, like, unlocking extra stuff, or I am just in the overworld, and these are just general studs going into my collection.
Okay.
Like, I'm always more thorough when I'm trying to get True Jedi.
Yeah. Once you know you're in a level where you might get rewards, where there is a purpose.
Yeah, like, no, don't get me wrong, like, studs are very helpful to have, especially when you've got, like, 300 odd characters to unlock.
But it's a difference between, okay, I'll look enough to find the regular default thing versus I need to scour because there might be secret stuff I need to go out of my way for.
Exactly.
Yeah. I see the problem here.
That is the first problem. So then you've got, like, the difference between levels and not levels, and sometimes not always fully registering that you are in a level or aren't in a level.
Yeah.
And then, like, just the way some of the levels are done. Like, there's a couple where you are thematically supposed to be going stealthy.
Yes.
Like, the plot is we're going stealthy. The video introing this section was somebody is in cuffs and we're walking through a base, and it's like, okay, well, I'll do the thing. I'll dress up as a stormtrooper and I'll walk through the base and I'll escort this person. Oh, I've got to the end of the level. I barely noticed that I was in a level, and I didn't get True Jedi because I smashed almost nothing.
Yeah, because you were trying to be stealthy.
Because I was trying to be stealthy, like the game said, but that didn't get me True Jedi because I didn't smash enough stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, that's a problem. The other problem with this decision that everything has to be go here, do the thing, go here, do the thing, is that, especially in episode 1, it's like, okay, we are on the we're in space.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to fly to the Viceroy's ship in orbit above Naboo.
Is this when it looked like No Man's Sky for a bit?
Yeah. So you fly.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, you've targeted the hangar bay. You're going to land there. Cool. Okay. Now go and do the bit where you're walking to the room where you're about to be gassed.
Yeah.
It's like, but this isn't a level. This is still hub world stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Now you're getting out of here. So, and literally, you fly to the ship. You follow a droid to the room where you get gassed. You get you rearrange the chairs. You get gassed. Because it's like, use your force powers to move 3 chairs into their correct places. Okay, cool, I've done that. Oh, we're getting gassed. Oh, here are some droid decals. Okay, now we're leaving. We're going back to the place where we got on our ship, and literally nothing has happened. Okay, cool. Well, I mean, yes, these things have happened that I've just said, but we're walking back to our ship. Cool, we're off our ship now. Cool. Okay, what happens next? Okay, now we're going down to the planet. Cool, we're going to warn the Gungans about the impending attack. So we're going to wander around another hub area. We're going to find Jar Jar. We're going to dive down into a third hub area. We're now in the Gungan city. There's a bunch of locked doors that you can't go through.
Yeah.
And it's like, come back in free play. Well, there's one thing I know about Lego games, especially Lego Star Wars games, is there's almost no point trying to do free play until you've got to the end of story mode for all of the chapters. And now, instead of there being 3 chapters, there's 9. I was like 17 hours into the game before I'd got free play fully worth unlocked and playing.
Wow. Yeah.
And the number of times I encountered things where it was like, oh, okay, it seems that I've got enough stuff to go and get that little shiny brick I can see on my radar.
Yeah.
I'll go grab the brick. Cool. I've found the brick. I'm gonna go and see this thing over here, and like you'll get part of the way through a little side mission to get to something. Like, oh, I can destroy that. And I can build this thing here, and I can send an astromech droid to unlock that.
Yeah.
And then I can jump up here, and then it's like, no, you have hit an absolute wall, and we've decided, arbitrarily deciding that you can't change characters.
Oh.
Like, not in a level, in a hub area. It's just like, no, you can't change characters now. Why not? I could change characters there. In fact, you've encouraged me at several points in this hub area to change characters, but now you're saying because I'm here, 3 feet from a fucking Kyber brick, you're saying I can't have it because I'm not in free play. And, or, like, hey, do this thing, go through this long, complicated thing to climb up on top of a ship to find some people that you've been told about. Like, because you get rumours as you go through. You find these people who are like, hey, there's a rumour. There's some people up on top of the ship. They're not supposed to be there. Don't tell anyone. Shh, I'm not a snitch. You find them, and you get most of the way through it, and all of a sudden it's like, no, you can't change characters. I could change them down on the ground. Yeah, that was fine, but now we've decided that you can't be a bounty hunter because you'll unlock this thing. Yeah. Why can't I unlock that thing?
Yeah.
Or there's, like, space battle things you can't do. So essentially what I did is I got about as far as A New Hope and just went, well, fuck trying to do anything. I'll just run through the story. Yeah. Because every time I try and get involved in something, I'm basically told to fuck off. That did not change until I got to Canto Bight, which is, what, episode 8 of 9?
Yeah, it wants you to play the whole game before you can play the game.
It got to Canto Bight, and all of a sudden I was allowed to have, like, about 2 hours of just go and do some missions, have a little potter, the tinkery bit of Lego Star Wars games that I really enjoy.
Yeah.
And I got really into it until I hit another, just a smack in the face brick wall. Oh. And I was like, oh, I was almost allowed to have fun for a little while. Well, I guess back on the mission, and I've got to do that one Star Wars movie we saw in the cinema and I haven't watched since.
I will say I've giggled at how many times you've said brick wall while talking about Lego.
Yep. I mean, it's thematically appropriate.
That it is.
Things I've appreciated about this that I haven't about that maybe it doesn't sound like I have. There's no kiss.
Oh no!
There's no kiss in episode 9.
Oh, okay, that's something.
Because there's no in episode 9, and the number of times the Emperor. Do you know the toy of the Emperor? Have you seen the Lego toy of the Emperor?
I don't know. What is?
He has these little clippy things that go in his hands.
Oh, are they little fake lightning? Yeah.
And they're about like almost as long as a minifig.
Yes.
There are at least 2, maybe 3 scenes in this game where the Emperor just goes unlimited power, holds the things out, and then just goes. And then just, like, throws them over his shoulder and then zaps them. Just like, that was kind of funny both times.
I'm going to say this. These are all very important, very valid critiques. The knowledge that the very forced, it feels weird and rapey and I don't like it kiss isn't in there. Instantly, this is better than watching the 9 movies. This is... Look, I will play some shitty games in order to have the trilogy without that kiss.
Yeah. I about 2 hours before we started recording this, I finally finished episode 9.
Okay.
Weirdly, like, I thought it was kind of funny that, was it Rise of Skywalker, the 8th one?
Yeah.
Ryan Johnson's one,
yes.
the good one?
Yes.
Weirdly, that was the one I had the most fun playing.
I mean, I'm not surprised. It had, like, a good mix of, like, different kind of stuff going on.
It had loads of good fun stuff in it. It finally let me go and do some of the pottery bits that I wanted to do. And then, like, I hit into Rise of Skywalker and it was just like, nah. Also, we're going to remind you of how bad Rise of Skywalker was.
I maintained that episode 7 was, like, not pushing the boat out, but, like, it worked and did what it was trying to do, and I had no real complaints about it. Yeah. Episode 8 was genuinely interesting and set up a lot of, like, really promising things.
And 9 was like, no, fuck you.
The problem is that episode 9 went, fuck you, and actively retconned the shit that 8 was setting up. Yeah. I'm like, there's a version of episode 9 that could have made this trilogy, like, amazing, and, like, instead it's...
Give us Ryan Johnson's episode 9.
Honestly, yeah. Give me. Look, I'm not one to be a Snyder Cut type person. But give me the. Go film a new Ryan Johnson episode 9.
Right. Like, because I remember sitting in the theatre going, like, watching episode 7 and going, oh, this is just episode 4 again, huh?
And, like, I don't mind it being...
I'm kind of okay with that.
I very much enjoy new episode 4.
Yeah,
episode
4.2 was.
We
episode
did
4 New Game Plus.
Yeah, New Game Plus. That's what I was looking for. Yeah, I'm happy to New Game Plus episode 4.
Yeah, I was fine with that, and I like, for all its faults and the fact that like a couple of scenes went on a little bit long in episode 8, I really enjoyed episode 8, and then episode 9 just like I was mad for John Boyega, I was mad for Kelly Marie Tran.
Oh yeah.
I was just I was just so annoyed by that whole thing. I remember sitting in the theatre going, I bet some people are going to be really annoyed about various bits of this. I'm okay though. And then just like the longer the film went on, the more I was like, no, I'm one of the people that isn't okay with this.
I generally didn't hate it in the moment. My feelings about it are mostly, this is a big missed opportunity, both in terms of like the underutilized characters and actors, and certain points such as fucking the Emperor's Return being a Fortnite exclusive.
I still don't know what happened in Fortnite. I know that like they announced that the Emperor had come back, but I assume there are videos on
that
YouTube.
film starting with the Emperor is back and we're just not going to explain it is...
He's back somehow.
They made some fucking choices there.
Yes, they did. And I hear Rian Johnson's getting his own Star Wars trilogy, so I hope that's good.
Rian Johnson's getting one, and so is Taika Waititi's doing it.
I am very ready for Taika Waititi's No Skywalker edit.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously Warner Brothers are an awful pile of shitbags.
Yeah.
Their developers have been paid, although not enough. Do not feel bad about stealing this game. Yeah, it's more Lego Star Wars, kind of. It's frustrating, kind of, but once you get 17 hours through the story mode, it gets kind of good. I don't know if I'll be saying that next week when I've done, like, oh yeah, smuggle this from one area to the other. You will be stopped 3 times by enemy ships. They might be TIE fighters, they might be bounty hunters. Woo! For the 65th time. I might feel differently about it, but right now I'm like, I've enjoyed what I've played so far. Mostly. What about you? Play anything else?
The only other thing I've been playing, and like, I've wanted to so Fire Emblem 3 Hopes has just come out, which is a Fire Emblem Warriors game.
Oh.
That is a sequel to Three Houses, the like proper Fire Emblem on Switch. And I played a lot of Fire Emblem Three Houses and remembered very little of it because I tried to play it at a time when I had a bunch of other shit going on, and that is a game that requires a lot of focus and a lot of attention.
There's a lot of characters and politics in that one.
Yes. So I was like, you know what? Before I play, Three Warriors, which is or Three Hopes, which is the one that I want to play, the Warriors game, I'm going to try and go back in and replay the Fire Emblem one, the one that's a Fire Emblem. And I decided to do that the same week as there was a protest going on. Here's me going, oh yeah, I was really busy the first time I played that and I didn't take it in properly. Let's pick a busy week to try it again.
Let's pick the busiest week of the year.
But like, I'm not that far into it, so it's not like I'm overwhelmed by the amount of things I need to remember at the moment. But yeah, that game is a very competently made, very well made, like top-down strategy tactics game that I enjoy very much. I appreciate that it has an amount of rewind turn ability available. I am playing it with permadeath turned off because I'm a coward and I like all the characters too much. Don't let them die. I'm too bad at video games for this.
No doubt.
And yeah, it does a gorgeous job of going from like minimized, zoomed back battlefield look to some units are fighting and we're going to zoom into the action and have it be very dramatic and then snap right back to the overhead view. They do a very good job of that, particularly with the ability to have, like, you can equip certain units with battalions, so if they, like, attack with their battalion, you zoom down and there's an entire little army going up against this one unit, and it's a very polished game, where I will play, like, 40 minutes maybe of combat and then, like, 2 hours of running around a big castle finding people to cook meals for and such.
Oh heck.
Doing my social...
friends.
It's lots and lots of social building to occasionally do one fight. You gotta be a teacher, you gotta teach all your students how to be good warriors. You gotta come. This
Teach them
game,
the fire triangle.
this game is so fucking ridiculous. In that, like, you have like a calendar and have to come up with lesson plans and like keep an eye on which of your students are falling behind and like give them extra attention to make sure that they catch up with the class. And like, you're just a teacher. You just have to
Wow.
be a teacher.
Teach us him.
Yeah, it's turn-based strategy combat, but also it's be a newly accredited teacher sim.
Wowza.
And get to know your class of like you've got 10 students in your class, but there's 10 students in the other class and 10 students in the other class. And if you want to start poaching students from other classes, you can focus your class on the things they like, so you can poach them over to your class. That game's ridiculous. So I'm gonna try and make some time to play it properly. But yeah, I am enjoying it, but I'm remembering why, the very reason that I'm replaying it, the amount of focus needed. So it's one of those like, yeah, maybe like play it on like a quiet weekend, or maybe start playing it on stream. I need to play it in a setting where it has my attention. So yeah, is that everything we've played this week, I think?
I think so.
Well then, time for this.
Oh God! Oh dear! Oh dear!
Oh dear.
Yes. Bit of crisis. Seems like a lot of the government are resigning.
Oh, that's not good. How do we make Boris look good with this going on?
Seems like several of them have suddenly grown a backbone and some morals, maybe some kind of integrity.
Well,
Never thought I'd see the day, but here we are.
I mean, I don't know if it's necessarily that, or they're just rats scrambling to get off the ship before it sinks, maybe.
Well, indeed, obviously, first one out, less likely to be seen as the problem TM. And obviously distancing themselves more quickly than any of the others, which is weird, because we just had that vote of confidence, and I think a lot of them said they were really right in there, and I'm sure they all knew exactly who Boris was. I mean, we all know who Boris is. Yeah, so do we have any suggestions on how we can make Boris look good?
I mean, surely there's got to be some colleagues left that'll say something nice about Boris.
I mean, obviously we can get Nadine drunk again and pop her on.
Yes.
You know, she loves a good drunken croon about how much she loves Boris.
I mean, from the looks of this, she's just about the only one left who's going to, I think.
Okay, any other suggestions? What about a royal wedding? Can we organise a royal wedding?
I mean, which of them aren't married yet?
Some of the kids. Or is that
that might be a bit early.
Probably still a bit weird. Do they not? I thought royalty just got married as, you know, I don't know.
It's a little more taboo than it used to be, I think.
Well, I suppose.
Okay, I've got one.
Right, what have we got?
EastEnders, the movie.
Oh, okay.
Culminating, what, 30, 40, 50, however many years of plotline in one big grand spectacular where we find out who the mailman has been boinking.
EastEnders, the movie, it's going to be like 300 Christmas episodes all at once. I mean, I like the sound of it, but maybe even that might not be enough to distract from the fact that they are literally fucking off at a rate of knots.
I mean, have you got any suggestions of your own?
Well, oh, I know. We'll just blame the transes.
Oh, wonderful!
It's always their fault.
Always
somehow.
their fault.
Bloody transes.
Bloody
So, we have the figures back from last week's re-screening of Morbius.
Oh, are they? How are they? I'm crossing my fingers for wonderful.
We had no viewings across all 700 theaters that we booked out across the U.S.
Wait, not even one person stumbled in.
No, apparently even the staff weren't in there.
Wait, but
no one.
But they said they wanted it back in theaters.
Yeah,
and I know we've been fooled before, but
yeah, 5 previous times they did that. But I have heard back from 4chan, and they've said started a new petition. We're really sorry, definitely for realsies this time. We were busy all those other times. We're really sorry, and we absolutely promise we definitely will be available to watch Morbius, the great Morbius that we're very excited to see, on the weekend of the 27th.
We promise this time it really is Morbin time.
And also the 27th. We promise that's the date. We booked time off to be available on 27th. Hashtag it's Morbin time.
Well, they did say it's Morbin time this time.
Right, they said that, and...
They wouldn't lie about Morbin time.
Well, not 7 times, right?
7 times would be ridiculous. 6, 6 is an unfortunate accident.
Right, and they've already penciled us in here. They haven't done that before, so
yeah, right, yeah.
There's
a Facebook event that says let's all definitely for real go see Morbius.
And there's a screenshot here that lots of people screenshotting their Google Calendar.
That definitely go see Morbius on.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't argue with that.
I mean, it says they're definitely going to go see Morbius.
So, we're going for it then, right?
I mean, we have to. They deserve to be morbed.
They deserve to the morbs.
I just want it to be Morbin time.
Well, what have you put in your eyes?
What have we put in our eyes, I guess?
That's my thing.
There's a lot of, together watched things.
Well, we do that. We watch things together.
Yeah, so we finished season 2 of The Boys.
The Boys.
And we're now a few episodes into season 3. That is definitely becoming very...
Fashy.
It's not shying away from real-world fascism parallels.
I mean, literally calling one of the characters Stormfront.
I mean, yes.
And having them be a literal Nazi.
Yeah, I mean, look, we've just had, and I'll try and say this as unspoiler as I can, we've just had a very fascist character go, hey, it's not actually bad for my reputation with the American people for me to just be open about my levels of fascism. In fact, there are portions of America that will prefer me being openly fascist, and
and that's the one that the certain people decided was their hero. That's the one they picked.
Yep, apparently so. Yeah.
I don't know what this show can possibly have done to that character to make him seem a bigger fascist.
My understanding, and I guess it's around where we're at now, is that character becomes a very undeniable, very obvious, very in-your-face Trump analog, and part of it seems to be, wait, are you suggesting Trump is like this horrible, evil, narcissistic person?
Yes. How do you not see that?
Yeah. I continue to be enjoying this very heavy watch.
Yes, it is a very heavy watch.
It is a heavy watch, but it is a...
There's been a lot more gore in the last season and a bit. Lots of people popping.
Yes. It's been a lot of, It's been nice seeing more and more characters get onto the team that is trying to do something about shit, and...
Yes.
Having moments of that person has reached the point of, I cannot be complicit and must do something.
I just once again wish they would be honest and talk to each other.
Yeah, I mean, look, this show has a real problem with just fucking talk to each other, and that will solve 90% of your problems.
Mm-hmm.
This show's real bad at that.
Yep.
So many problems are just fucking talk to each other. Though I thought that about Umbrella Academy at points. Season 3 of Umbrella...
yeah.
There was a point in particular with Season 3 of Umbrella Academy where a character took an object that everyone had been looking for and went away to a location and didn't come back for ages. It's you could have just told them that you had the thing.
Hey guys, popping out, got the thing.
I got the thing, don't worry about looking for it, I've got it. We're gonna pop out for a minute. So much harm could have been avoided if you just fucking communicate.
Yep. But no, why would they do that?
Yeah, why would they do that? I will say, I like Season 3's gimmick they're playing around with Butcher. I will say no more about it, but
yep.
I think that's interesting, and I'm curious if that will finally get some character development out of him.
We can only see.
I can certainly see how that would put him in a position where he'd have to get over some of his experiences and feelings.
Will it?
Maybe, I don't know. It's hard to hate yourself. Okay,
I don't know. I think Butcher hates himself.
I was gonna say, yeah. You know what? I know it's easy to hate yourself.
Agreed.
Yeah, but yeah. What about you? What have you been watching?
We watched Strangly Thongs season 4.2.
Yes, we did. What did you think?
I thought there were some very epic scenes in it.
Yep.
I enjoyed the spectacle. I am curious what happens next. I thought that they did some nice things with some bits that have been building up. I'm trying to speak as spoiler-free as possible.
Yeah.
And I saw a really scathing review of season 4 yesterday.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I don't care.
Yeah. Look.
It doesn't have to be amazing, and it doesn't have to be this and that and the other. It doesn't have to be this particular thing that you want it to be. I'm enjoying the spectacle and the music and just the adventure and spectacle of it.
I am generally really enjoying the ride and the spectacle, and I agree with you that, like, largely my feelings are, that's really cool, I want more of this, I'm having a good time. And, like, I don't even think this is, like, a bad... Some of my thoughts about this where I'm like, I wish certain things were different. In particular... There's at least one character who I wish their fate had been different from what it was. I think we were robbed.
Yep.
I think that there is definitely some merit to the people who feel that this show is queer baity in a lot of ways.
Agreed.
And,
yeah. Strongly.
Will introduce gay characters but not give them the same level of payoff or the same kinds of payoff that they will give straight characters.
I understand what they're trying to do and going, well, it's very dangerous to come out in the 80s. Like, I agree, but also, like, people did come out in the 80s.
I've seen a lot of critique boil down to, well, such and such wouldn't happen because it's the 80s and it was dangerous to be out. And I'm like, yeah, people still came out.
Yeah.
Like, that's a really powerful thing you can do, is have a story in which someone comes out in a time where it's difficult for them to. Like, if you're not willing to have your character be out in that time setting, don't fucking put huge amounts of effort into going, hey, them.
Yep.
And, like, it feels cheap. And, like, particularly... I'm annoyed that character I wish had a different fate. I'm annoyed over there. I'm like, just don't play around leaning into playing to the gays if you're not gonna commit. So, but, like, that's my biggest problem, and it's like, it's not gonna stop me watching the next season. It just feels cheap.
So one of the main critiques I saw yesterday was that we've gone from season 1 where we had Steve Harrington, Jock.
Yes.
Turns out he's actually alright.
Yeah.
To season 4, the Jocks are literally willing to just, like, buy guns and kill people.
Yeah.
If they get the opportunity.
Yeah.
And, like, I can see why they would say that, but also, like, not everyone is that multidimensional. Some people are just jock jerks.
Yeah, and I think in particular, like, I think this season did a really good job with, like, the power of mob mentality and, like, how that kind of white boy frat culture can really, really be a breeding ground for, like, irrational, dangerous violence.
Yeah.
Like, it can be a real, like, self-fulfilling circle of let's go be violent at people.
And I feel that is the difference between Steve in high school, because I think they were still in high school when that character was first introduced. Like, high school Steve and, like, college age, the football team in that, because they have that, like, they're more of a gang because they're like the team. They have that like group jockiness, whereas Steve was more of a, like, oh, he's the captain of the swim team, but you never really saw the swim team. You didn't really see, like, a bunch of people backing him up.
Yeah.
And he definitely didn't have freedom of the frat house area that is basically just a house you can trash and drink in.
And I think Lucas this season was a really good example of the fact that, like, a good person can end up doing bad things by the sort of peer pressure environment that is, and that just because someone has been wrapped up into that sort of frenzy doesn't mean they are necessarily an irredeemably bad person.
Yep.
Like, Lucas is a very good example of, oh shit, I don't feel safe to say no while things are getting dangerous around me.
And we've also seen people this season, like, even on that same football team, of like, hey, I'm not sure about this.
Yeah.
And then just being sort of bullied into it further. So it's not even necessarily saying, hey, they are all exactly this awful.
Yeah.
It's like 2 or 3 who are definitely like taking the lead on that. Like, I don't know how quickly someone would step into that role if those like 2 or 3 specific ones weren't there. But I feel like that in this case, like, there has been like specifically there, like, the team captain has been just like bad. And I suppose he has reason to. Like, from his point of view, like, the Satan cult murdered his girlfriend.
I mean, yeah.
For him, it's very personal.
Yeah, and I think, like, particularly, like, you know, no spoilers, but I think in, like, the latter part of the season, once he's witnessed someone float into the air and, to his mind, be fucking, like, demoned. Like, I can understand how any rational person would see that and go, that is evidence for every fear I had about this satanic cult.
Yeah.
They're real, and I'm the only one who knows and believes it and can say it.
Especially if you're kind of brought up in a time and area, or maybe, well, like, we don't know much about his family. Like, if they are quite religious and he has spent time at church, having like the literally seeing someone demoned, and obviously all the floating stuff from the Satanic Panic stuff that's going on anyway.
Well,
like,
during that funeral, he quotes a bit of the Bible, which to me suggests he does have a religious past and is at least like passingly aware of the Bible, which I think really leans into. I think they did a really good job of the Satanic Panic stuff this season of justifying it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's easy to justify Satanic Panic when weird satanic shit is happening.
Yeah. It's amazing we didn't get Satanic Panic sooner.
I mean, yeah, really.
Yeah.
In Hawkins, yeah. I have enjoyed it. I am curious to see what they do with season 5. I hope there isn't much more of it, because I think it is going to be another one of those. Oh, it's just gone on for 10 seasons and now it's shit.
Well, season 5, as I understand it, is the final season.
Yeah.
So
I think that needs to be the case.
it's circling about the point where like it needs to finish and not drag its heels.
You too can cancel Netflix today.
Yeah, you can.
You can.
Hey.
And you can state your reason for leaving because they give you an exit survey. You can tell them what a bunch of transphobes they are.
Yar horror fiddle-dee-dee.
Yep, get yourself a tricorn hat. And watch Strangly Thongs.
We watched another thing together this week.
Which is also a Netflix show.
Yeah, don't financially support Netflix.
But Dead End Paranormal Park.
Yeah, Dead End Paranormal Park by a person I've known for a while, Hamish Steele.
So yeah, obviously,
transparency,
full transparency here, friend of yours.
Full transparency person I've known for several years through passing at conventions. Guys, an animated show, and it's real good.
It is really good.
Yeah, so Dead End Paranormal Park is an animated show with a trans man main character, and I don't think it's explicitly said, but it sure feels like autistic secondary character.
It's definitely not said, but yeah, I can kind of see that.
I feel like that feels like the dynamic is trans man and autistic best friend. Who try and find a job because they both have reasons for wanting this job. One wants to work in this theme park because it clearly is an autistic special interest, it seems like. And the other is trying to find a reason to get away from home. And they end up getting jobs in a park that happens to have paranormal shit going on. It's a bit weird. There's monsters and spooky things, but they're both getting what they want out of working there, so hijinks ensue. Yeah, demon friend.
And a cute pug.
Yeah, cute pug who is adorable and fun.
And can breathe okay.
Yes.
If you were worried.
There is one season of it currently out, and I think they do a good job of, like, it starts with here's your premise setup, some light-hearted, they're not too connected, just, Monster of the Week type episodes. And then you get into an interesting mystery that goes some places.
Yeah, I mean, things are scattered around from, like, the very beginning of the very first episode.
Yeah. Even those early Monster of the Week ones have a little bit of, ooh, that's to do with something, we'll find out more.
Why are all these missing posters up all over the park?
Yeah, because, like, right at the start you get this suggestion that someone that looks an awful lot like the owner of the theme park has maybe disappeared, and maybe they're not the only disappearance at the park.
And, like, part of the motto of the park staff involves, like, if you see some paranormal shit, just ignore it.
Yeah.
Implying that they know there's things that are a bit wacky.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I really like its world building. I think its supporting cast of characters are all really fun.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just a nice little, like, Monster of the Week mystery that has some real heart to it. I think they did a good job of handling the trans content in it. Was all done well.
I think it's only mentioned, like, 2 or 3 times. Explicitly, like he mentions in the first episode that he's trans.
Yeah.
And that he wants to have power over when he tells people and if he tells people. And then there's obviously the stuff about the reason he's run away from home, really.
And I think it's not too spoilery to say, like, his parents are supportive, but are supportive when it's easy.
Yes, only when it's easy.
Only when it's easy. They're not willing to do the difficult, hard conversations that come around being
hey,
a
other family member.
Yes, hello, other family. They fall into the trap of, oh well, such and such family member won't be around forever. Can we just not? They probably can't take it. And yeah, it is just this sort of background element of someone who's like, I love my family.
Why
but
can't you wear a dress to this wedding?
Yeah, it's that energy, and it's just this little background narrative of an awkward relationship from parents who are frustrated because they're like, but we're being supportive. Why are you being so, why are you being so not appreciative? And
half-assing it.
Yeah, trans person being like, that's the bare minimum. You're not doing the above that you need to do.
Yep.
And
you're supporting me in private at home where it's convenient.
Yeah. Also, it's nice to just have a trans main character that gets to just have cute, nice romance stuff going on that isn't a big deal.
Cute, nice romance stuff that isn't a big deal. Gay, cute romance stuff that isn't a big deal.
Yeah.
And also the fact that, like, no one misgenders him.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Yeah.
Like, it's implied that a family member has done.
Yes.
But, like, his parents don't, I don't think.
His brother doesn't. The only instances of transphobia are implied off-screen from one family member, and, hey, why didn't you step in when insert family member did generic, we're not going to get into specifics, said horrible things to me and you didn't stand up for me. Like, it doesn't wallow in it.
No.
It's just, it's there to set up the family dynamic.
Yeah.
But it's not a big deal otherwise, and
I appreciated that. Like, you can tell these stories without making them trauma porn, and I feel like this covered it really well.
This is one of the better, like, this is an explicitly trans character in an animated thing, and I feel like they just did it. I have no faults.
Yeah.
And that's a rarity, and I gotta give props to that.
Also, quite a broad trans man.
Yeah.
As opposed to just very, very small, like trans men come in all shapes and sizes.
Yeah.
It's nice to see a Barney. Barney is the character.
Yes. Like, he's short and a bit broad, but, like, he's not
I can't tell how short he is because he's hanging around with other people his own age, so...
Maybe. I'm mainly picturing it, the romance interest is definitely considerably taller than him. They've got a bit of a height difference.
I suppose because Barney's got that sort of pompadour at the front.
Yeah.
It gives him a bit of extra height.
It catches him up a little bit, but... Yeah, there's also just, like, generally a nice degree of variation across the cast. It feels like it's got out of its way to be inclusive in its design, which is always appreciated.
Yeah.
It was funny and sweet.
We have a hijabi in there.
Yeah.
We've got, I think there's, like, a couple of Mexican characters, which is important for a show set in America. Because too often America loves to whitewash its shows.
I'll say this, it is ambitious for a first season of a show to try and do a musical episode, and they did a really good musical episode.
Oh, they did.
That is a difficult thing to do with a show you're still establishing, and they nailed it.
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's a good show.
I hope they get another one. I hope there is a way of supporting them outside of Netflix.
I mean, I will continue to go and support Hamish's comics work at MCM because they usually have a table in the artist's alley. To go keep an eye out.
Come October, I'll go and have a peek.
Yeah.
I loved your show, but I cannot endorse Netflix.
That's entirely fair, I think.
Let me give you money in some way.
For what it's worth, my understanding is this was in the works before a lot of that stuff came to light, and that is a situation that sure occurred.
Mm-hmm.
You watched anything else this week?
Nope, that's everything I watched this week.
So the only other thing I watched and had like a surprisingly positive time with was I watched a few episodes of The Orville, which is Seth MacFarlane's
Wannabe Star Trek.
Star Trek, which I went into this because the thing happened that often happens where someone won't tell me...
Hey, Laura.
Hey, Laura, something
Laura,
really
hey.
important and relevant to you happened in an episode of a TV show. Have you seen it? Oh, I won't say
You
what.
famous trans person.
Yeah.
Have you seen The Thing? I won't say what it is. I won't say what happened.
Yeah. And
I'm so subtle.
This happened with The Orville, and I'm like, oh god, Seth MacFarlane's involved on this project, which my knowledge of him with, like, your Family Guys and whatnot is, like, edgy, bottom-of-the-barrel comedy that is just, like, scrambling for pop culture references and not really in any way interesting, and usually kind of shitty on, you know, representation matters.
Yeah.
I went into this mainly to go, okay, what the fuck is the thing happening I have to have an opinion on? I was genuinely kind of impressed with The Orville. Particularly given, like, Seth MacFarlane's involvement, it was much better than I anticipated. It is clearly, first and foremost, a very lovingly made Star Trek parody that wants to be a serious Star Trek.
Right.
And that, like, the impression I get is that the humour's there because I can sell it if a comedy name is attached to it and I do some jokes. But it feels like much more it wants to go, we're not just gonna recreate the existing stuff in Star Trek, we're gonna do our own world building, our own species, our own dynamics, and try and tell a Star Trek that happens to have some jokes in it.
And you've said that it's less over the top than Lower Decks. Season
100%. Like,
we haven't seen any other season, but season 1 we both went,
we've both been told that, like, season 2 gets a lot better of Lower Decks, but, like, watching the first 3 episodes of The Orville and then skipping ahead to a season 3 episode, I think it was, this was much more of an enjoyable, not Family Guy energy Star Trek than Lower Decks.
Yeah.
It was a lot more restrained with not trying to be a million miles an hour a joke every second. It used humour as a punctuator, not as the entire reason it was trying to be there. It felt a lot less regularly crude than season 1 of Lower Decks did. And yeah, I was pleasantly surprised. Like, it wasn't perfect. It had a few, like, I won't get into too much in the way of specifics, but it's not a surprise to say there is sort of it's a little bit mixed metaphor whether it is a trans story or an intersex story. It dabbles a lot in ideas around the moral problems with forced intersex corrective surgeries and, like, the point that, like, we wouldn't consider that acceptable in any other setting. Like, it's pointed out, like, hey, humanity doesn't think twice about things like circumcision. Like, in that case, like, it makes it harder for you to argue, hey, you shouldn't do this. And it was, like, quite a well thought out episode that dealt with some kind of heavy themes, and its ending was difficult and complicated, and they came back to it a few seasons later and sort of cleared up the muddied metaphor a bit and had, like, a very satisfying, well-handled payoff for it that I genuinely was, like, pretty surprised at how well it was done. It was very supportive and not shitty and not making a joke about trans or intersex people. And I was like, that's... Like, it was genuinely, like, more of an in-your-face, direct trans story than most you would see in stuff like this. It doesn't take the easy route of we're going to really lean on the space alien metaphor, and it gets, like, very in your face about it. And I don't know if I'll watch more of it, but look, for all my problems with Seth MacFarlane's work and the often in many places shitty and bigoted places it goes while trying to get jokes. The Orville in isolation seems pretty good. And I don't know whether I want to continue watching a Seth MacFarlane thing, but also he's maybe made one thing that's good. So that's the Orville.
I mean, it's got Seth MacFarlane attached. If you want to see a musical episode, there probably is one.
There probably is one, I imagine. But yeah, that's the Orville, and I'm morbidly curious. And like, take this half recommendation. Reminder, yaha fiddle-dee-dee. Take this half recommendation with the fact that I've watched like a grand total of 4 episodes across the show, and like, for all I know, the very next episode could like really fucking step its foot in some shit. But
for the sake of answering the internets,
yeah, I was pleasantly surprised by my attempt to watch the thing that someone was trying to get me to watch. You watched anything else this week?
No, that's it, really.
I think that's it.
I'm going to put the other thing in listened, because it was more of a listened thing.
That's fair. Well then, time for this.
We've got a new sponsor.
Who's our new sponsor?
Well, do you do a protest sometimes?
I do a protest sometimes.
And do you get a little together and everyone's banging the drum and singing the song?
On occasion I've had to get people doing a bit of a chant and stuff, but...
Yeah, and like obviously there's the old classics, trans rights are human rights, rights are human rights, what do we want, trans rights, when do we want them? As soon as possible, if that's okay. In fact, earlier than yesterday.
I mean, yeah, but it's sometimes tricky when you want to like get a new chant started, because like if they don't know the rhythm to it, it's going to be awkward. Like,
yeah, sometimes you have to really drive it in.
Yeah.
Well, what if there was an album that you could just send everyone a link to on Spotify, and then they could listen to it beforehand, and then they would know all of the protest chants.
Oh, wonderful. So it's just a bunch of protest chants, or are they any kind of special ones?
Oh, yeah, all real good. So check out, now that's what I call protest chants. It's protest chants based on popular songs and artists, featuring such classics as Boris Johnson's a fascist.
Oh, I know that one.
Right.
Oh, shit. This album might be alright for us.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, we got this one here.
We want healthcare.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Right.
And apparently there's many more.
Many more.
That you can find out by checking the album, not from us here.
Yeah. I mean, for just $19.95, but also available on streaming services, you too can get Now That's What I Call Protest Chants. Disabled people still don't have marriage equality. Fucking sort that out. Disabled people still don't have marriage equality. Fucking sort that out. And many more. I knew the line I wanted, I just couldn't think of any song. But then I remembered Swing Low.
Swing Low is the song.
So head on over to Now That's What I Call protestchants.lol.net, or head over to the Spotify and check out the playlist there. And enter, if you want, you can get a discount on actually purchasing a copy. Use the code Q&PS219 for realsies this week, definitely. And it's not because I just had to look up what last episode's number was. The problem is we haven't numbered the episodes beyond back end.
Yeah, but...
For a really long time. So I very often just don't remember. But today I did. So anyway, there you go. Inside the boardroom of Supremacy Software.
Hi. So, I've been busy this week.
Oh yeah.
I've we recently launched that subscription service for games. You pay us money. You have access to a bunch of our not this just release stuff, obviously. No. Kind of old that no one's buying anymore games. We put them up.
Not even the best versions of those. Certainly not a complete version.
Yeah, certainly not a version that's got all the accessibility options in. No siree.
Accessibility.
I know.
That costs money.
It's something the guys down in R&D keep pottering on about, but we got a problem.
Again?
I know, again.
Who do I have to flog this time?
Yeah, it's not someone in our company, unfortunately. The other people that make games also have one of these services, and they had theirs first. And
right.
Honestly, it's they put their good stuff on there like the day it comes out, which we don't want to because we want them to buy it.
Right.
So we gotta find, like, another way to be better than their service where they actually give everyone the games on day one. So
Right.
I've been thinking we beat them on quantity.
Right.
And, like, look, as long as we can say we have a bigger number of games, it doesn't really matter what they are, is my thinking.
Right.
So, what's the shittiest games you can think of we can probably get on the cheap?
What about, like, from the 8-bit era? There must be, like, a whole bunch of those. And
Yeah.
I hear, like, you can fit, like, the entire 8-bit era on one CD.
Exactly. Very little on, server space for us. There's, you remember that old attempt at doing a virtual reality that only did it in red and black?
Oh, yeah,
Like,
they
that
gave
thing-
everyone, like, neck pain.
Yeah, no one cared about that, but, like, we can be like, hey, we're the first ones to bring it back to a modern audience and, get some nostalgia clicks.
Some people still have those 3D TVs as well, so, maybe
Probably.
maybe there'll still be some use in there.
And I mean, even if they don't, worst case, players get a little ill. That's on them.
Yeah, a little ill.
Exactly.
Well, just, quick disclaimer flashes up at the beginning.
I'm pretty sure if we look around, we can find like a bunch of just the worst licensed tie-in products that have ever existed. Like,
Oh, yeah.
video game for like a children's TV show from the 90s that you barely remember the name of.
Oh, I have a guy down in Mexico who recently came into a whole bunch of cartridges for like an old movie tie-in, some alien
Oh.
thing. Just apparently just something he dug up.
Well, I mean,
so
if there's a bunch of cartridges, that must mean that it was popular, that lots of people wanted to buy it. So,
exactly.
like-
He's got like 1 million of these cartridges. So I mean, why not, right?
I mean, why not? What if we get, like, not the new modernized, HD versions of, classic games. We get these kind of shittier original ones. Like, the rights for those are going to be pretty cheap, right?
Right. Yeah. Oh, APKs.
Oh, yeah.
Like APKs from way back in like the very early 2000s.
I mean, at this point, why not? Look, there's a bunch of mobile games from, like, before there were smartphones. We could probably, like, get the rights to a bunch of those for, like,
How much do you think Snake's gonna set us back?
Oh, Snake seems a bit pricey, but I'm sure there's probably, like, not quite Mahjong we can pick up.
Oh, Nibbles. We can probably get DOS
Oh.
era games. We can probably
Oh.
get so many DOS era
Oh,
games.
you are a fucking genius.
I know.
So, what have you put in your ears?
Well, we did a listen thing together, which I think is what you were just alluding to before the break.
Yes.
We went to a protest.
We listened to a couple of hundred people singing Boris Johnson's a fascist to the tune of Seven Nation Army.
Johnson's a fascist.
Yep, as we walked past his front door.
Yeah, there was quite a bit of that.
Yep.
So this was the safe to be the not safe to be
me.
not safe to be me protest that
Yeah.
I helped put together.
Yeah.
That was the sort of response to the Conservative government's Safe to Be Me conference, where they were going to get a bunch
So
of
safe they cancelled it.
yeah, they were going to get a bunch of countries together to come to the UK and hear like how the UK is a bastion of minority safety, and a bunch of LGBT organisations pulled out of it when the government wouldn't support trans people in the conversion therapy ban.
We've slipped to
And-
14th in the international ratings.
Yep. And then we were like, hey, we're not going to cancel the protest, we're going to keep going. Let's get a bunch of, like, not just trans people, let's get a bunch of minority groups together to talk about why it's not safe to be them in the UK right now.
It was
And
nice to see disability campaigners and sex worker campaigners.
we had asexual rights advocates. We had someone from the Bi Survivors Network.
Yep. We
Um,
had someone from the Vagina Museum.
Yes, who did some wonderful talking about like the intersections and solidarity with the Jewish community.
Neve
Like
was
there was,
back again.
yeah, it was a really good day of solidarity between communities, and like, if nothing else, like I had a lot of conversations with speakers after the event ended where they were like, we've never been invited by a group that isn't like to do with our very specific intersection to speak before. Thank you. And we were like, that's good. Let's build these connections.
Let's just intersect our intersectionality.
Let's give you a space to talk, because like we're all fucking in this together, and
Yeah, and like, then like this is we talk about intersectionality a lot,
yeah.
or at least people I know do.
Yeah.
And it feels weird that like those groups aren't being invited to speak.
And It's difficult in some ways, and I can say this from like having been on the organising side. It's difficult to message to media a protest that has a broad intersectional range of things it's talking about. It's much easier when you can go, this is a trans rights protest. That is a much easier single line sell, and I get it, but like thinking more big picture than just this one protest, it's important to give space, to build networks and to do these things, because like these are the things that'll eventually get us these networks of people working together for everyone's protection.
We're all in this together, because if they start erasing one person's rights, they will be coming for the rest of us.
Yeah.
We need to work together and form... We need that solidarity. We need to basically form a union of everyone who's tired of the Tories.
Yes, right. And like, a lot of people who spoke did talk about sort of the intersections and sort of shared struggles that their groups intersected with the trans community. But that is a thing that they weren't required to do. It was very much like we said to them, you talk about whatever you want. If you want to just talk about your thing you're going through and like focus on that, that is super okay. This is space for you. And it was really nice how many people still were like, yeah, but we do have a lot in common. Let's talk about that.
We do, and I think I'll be honest, it really helps when you have a lot of punks at a protest, because you can tell by their patches what they're in support of.
Right.
So we had, like, people who were very clearly at the intersection of queerness and transness and sex workers and disability and asexuality.
Yeah.
Like, there was a lot of that already existing, so the fact that there were speakers from, like, all corners of that, yay good, more of this.
Also, fuck the police for fucking us around for ages and us having to fucking move the protest. But also, Impromptu Trans Rights March. Hell yeah.
Trans Rights March.
Boris Johnson's a fascist, indeed.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, I was real happy with the day. I thought it went really well.
I think everyone involved did a very good job of organising, and thank you very much to a stage friend for bringing and setting up and packing down and taking away and storing the stage. Thank you to everyone who organised all the equipment that was used, microphones, speakers. Thank you to Laura for doing all the subtitling. Thank you to me for doing the best I could possibly do.
You did
video.
You did great with the video work.
With the camera that kept overheating.
I have transcribed many hours of speeches and my brain is melting. But yeah, like looking back over the list of speakers we had so many wonderful people speaking. I'm so thankful that we were able to bring so many wonderful people together. So yeah, it was good to have a good protesty shout and get out and do something.
Yeah, because we've not had a good shout at anyone for a while.
Exactly, it's been a while.
Looking forward to Trans Pride Brighton in
a
couple of weeks, because that's another one that's like it's still very definitely a pride, but it's also very definitely a protest first.
Oh god, yeah, you have a proper good shouty march in the streets and. Like, I'm already thinking about more, like, in-person stuff I want to do. There's things that feel like they need doing, but for now, I am enjoying the one that has happened, and...
Yes, take a moment, breathe.
Gonna go to a protest that I didn't have to organise, and I can just shout and nothing's my responsibility.
Wave a flag, do a shout.
It's nice to not be responsible for everyone being okay when I do a protest. Responsibility.
It's okay. Responsibility, no, for a little while now.
Yeah.
You're okay.
I need a bit of no responsibility, please.
Yeah. Have you listened to anything else?
I listened to a fair amount of music this week.
Ooh,
look at me go. So some of this will be like fairly quick mentions. I went and listened to, and I forgot how much I like this song, Kill All Your Friends by My Chemical Romance. It is one of the B-sides off of the Black Parade, and it's got a very different cadence to anything else that came out of that era. It's very sort of wishy-washy in its pacing. It's a real neat track. On a similar note, I listened to Pinkish by Gerard Way, which was one of the like bonus tracks that got released after the Hesitant Alien album. Listening back to that, like, you can definitely hear the kind of thing that would end up becoming the Foundations of Decay, in that it is a much more, like, it's starting to play around in the screaming space, and it's a lot more like it's got almost like inspiration from 90s grunge in it, and it's got this sort of very heavy strums kind of sound to it that, listening back to it now, I'm like, oh yeah, I can see where this was going. I continue to listen to Spread Your Wings by Convoke, because it's out now. Go listen to Spread Your Wings by Convoke.
I've listened to it at least 4 times this week. It's very
I've listened to it so many times in the time since it was finished and it released, and I'm still like, oh, it's a really cool song, and also I'm in it.
Yeah.
That hasn't stopped being a very exciting thing still yet.
It's available on streaming services, and you can buy it.
Yeah, you can buy it, you can stream it, it's on YouTube, it's on Spotify, it's on all of the places. Go check it out. Go
check it out, go share it.
Go give it a
look. Spread the word.
Yeah.
Spread your wings, spread the word.
I listened to an album that I come back to every now and then, the album Chimes by Dessa, which it just has so many really good feminist, protesty tracks of like very varied musical genres that all boil down to, hell yeah, I feel fucking empowered to be a woman in a shitty world energy to them. It's a good fucking album.
Nice.
I got a couple more, I'm nearly done.
Yeah.
I listened to a track called Elon Musk is Making Me Sad.
Relatable.
By The Rentals. It's got a slightly, like, space vibe to it, in that way that, like, some of David Bowie's work did. That sort of, it sounds ethereal.
Okay, yeah.
And it's a track from the perspective of, like, not idolizing this perspective, but from the perspective of someone born a little bit before Elon Musk. Like, I think in the lyrics it says, like, it's like a few weeks before him. And falling into this trap of idolizing him despite him being a shitty person. Because of that trap of, well, he's done so much more with his time on Earth than I have. Clearly, he's better than me.
Certainly better funded.
And leaning into that whole, if I idolize him, maybe he'll lift me up too. And it's presented in this very, like, the tragic trap someone's fallen into. Of, like, I feel sad that I haven't done as much with my life as Elon Musk has with about the same amount of time. It's an interesting track. I listened to a track called Air of Grief, H-E-I-R of Grief, by Tensei Music. It blends back and forth between... It's a completely wordless track that blends back and forth between this sort of, like, very melancholy piano-led section, back and forth with these, like, much heavier power chord, like, rock sections that still manage to keep that sort of slightly melancholy feeling when the rock sort of comes in. Really wonderfully arranged piece with a lot of different layering and alterations. It manages to keep itself very interesting over its, like, 5+ minute runtime. And I think the last one I listened to was Kill the President by the Arrogant Sons of Bitches. It's a mix of, like, traditional rock music with ska, about being, like, it's from the perspective of someone who's an abuse victim and being gaslit into thinking that they're the problem and they deserve no friends, and then at their lowest point going, fuck that, and coming out the other side upbeat and healing. It is very chaotically upbeat in its sound, and optimistic despite some of the themes it tackles. Really neat song.
Nice.
What about you? You listen to anything else this week?
There's one other thing that I can sort of point to, and that is a track called When Time Stands Still by Sitar Metal.
Oh, is that what we... was on while we had dinner?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's sort of, imagine it opens quite nice flowing sitar music, goes into, like, some really chuggy metal, and then sort of periodically dips in and out with, like, little sitar solo bits. But, like, the sitar goes all the way through. That person plays it incredibly.
Yes.
It's a beautiful instrument, and it just works really well.
Those
more sitar in metal.
Yeah, those more, like, traditionally metal sections, that little bit of slightly different sound that the sitar gives it, I kept thinking it sounds very specifically like the kind of song that would play over the closing credits of a horror film in the 2000s.
Oh, yeah.
It had that sound in places of, like... It was a really neat track. It had, like... It definitely had slightly spooky vibes by the sitar being there in the metal sections. beautifully performed.
I am curious to listen to more of their stuff. Basically, someone on my on one of my socials shared it earlier and was like, "Yes, more sitar and metal," and I was like, "You know what? Yes, more sitar and metal. I'll listen to that." And now I'm like, you know what? I might have to see what else they got because I really enjoyed that.
Yay!
You can listen to anything else?
I think that's it for me.
Well then,
Time for this.
My dudes.
Right.
So, we have money.
We do.
We have this whole valley of silicon.
The venture capitalists have provided for us.
Right. We have that, and we need a new product.
Exactly. We can't get infinite money for ideas if we don't come up with ideas.
Right. So, I guess we would need something. What is a need that we have? And I think a lot of people talk about it online at the moment. You know, there are concerns about like spying and how secure your data is.
Oh, so this is like some kind of firewall program or something.
Like that, yeah, like a firewall for your domicile.
Oh, like a physical real world firewall.
Yeah, but not for fire.
No, for keeping your privacy.
Your privacy, right? Yeah, because people talk about privacy all the time. So what if there was a thing you could put over the windows?
Oh, I see. Because
Right.
then no one can see in.
Right. So my first thought was, what if it was just one way?
Oh, so you can see one way through it, but not the other.
Yeah, you can see out,
Yeah, they
but
can't
no one
see
can
in.
see in.
Oh, that is a genius idea. Never been done. Revolutionary.
Right. And if that's not to people's liking, what if that doesn't hit our market demographic? I mean, where would we touch base next?
I mean, everything's better when it's electronic, so motorized.
Right. So some kind of shield that's like motorized across your window, and that just sort of goes across.
You
there.
press a button and it activates the privacy screen, in a sort of side-to-side motion and provides you privacy.
Like some kind of sliding metal shutter, just sideways across your window.
Yeah.
But it's like house armor.
Oh, house armor, wonderful.
People will love that, right? Okay. Okay. So, how do you think people want to control that? Probably from like an app on their phone or something.
Bluetooth, of course.
Bluetooth,
You Bluetooth it from your phone.
Yeah, and I mean, like 3.5 gigahertz is probably sufficient
Probably
for the house shield. Okay. Any other suggestions for how we could do this? You know, if maybe people are like, nah, I don't like the aesthetics of metal. What's another way we could do that?
Oh, I don't know. You got any ideas? I'm coming up empty.
Well, what if there was like, you know how like on the old, like the retro arcade vintage LCD screens?
Yeah.
Like it's clear, right? You can see through, you can see the background on the thing, but then like the current passes through it and it goes dark.
Oh, yeah.
What if you had like that just built right into the window?
Okay.
So you press the button, and I'm not saying like a badly animated Sonic the Hedgehog comes on there, but instead just like the whole thing just goes black.
I mean, we could say badly animated Sonic the Hedgehog.
People might be into that.
You know, I got one more idea.
Right. Well, I mean, do you think that's got enough like thermal insulation properties? The whole.
That's a problem for the R&D lot. We're ideas.
Yeah, we are
We're
ideas.
Yeah. My idea is NFTs. They're, I think, still popular.
I mean, I've still got a bunch.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've not tried to sell any of mine recently, but I assume they're still just as valuable.
Well, no, that's an investment, right?
Exactly.
You don't spend any of it.
Definitely going up in value to the moon.
Yeah, I mean, I might, one day say, hey, I will buy Twitter for this monkey thing.
I'm pretty sure the monkey could buy you Twitter.
Yeah, and this
window shield, this house armor, will also buy us a Twitter.
Definitely, I'd buy a Twitter with a house shield, no problem. Especially the Bluetooth motorized one-way house shield thing.
We're so good at ideas.
We are so good at ideas. We invent all the best stuff. Never been done before. Never copied. Never surpassed. Tech Bros. High five.
Welcome, podcast listener. This is your mandatory rest point.
take a moment to breathe, relax, and take just a few seconds to simply be. Give yourself permission to put aside whatever you're meant to be doing and just not do it for a brief moment.
Got another skit. It's usually like 3 each.
Sorry. It's the permission to relax and not do your responsibilities segment time.
Okay.
No skip from me. Shh. And this has been not doing your responsibilities time.
Yay!
Yay!
Do you know what I want to see more of?
What do you want to see more of?
Social Justice Warriors.
Social Justice Warriors?
Yeah.
All right, Larry.
All right, Barry. How you doing?
Oh, warm.
Yeah. I'm ready to turn the fan on in a minute. Just have a bit of
Yeah.
You been up to much, mate?
I've been a bit frustrated.
Relatable.
I know. I've been watching a bunch of people get very defeated, and I think it's understandable. We're getting very defeated by politics recently.
Well, a lot going on in America, a lot going on in the UK.
Yeah, particularly seeing a lot of Americans who've been like, we voted the lesser of two evils into power, but they still have done fucking nothing to actually stop all the bullshit currently going on right now.
And instead spend a lot of time just going on, you need to vote.
You need to vote for us next time.
You're in power, do something.
Exactly, and there's a lot of
Do they
people...
not know?
Do they not know they're in charge?
Do they not know? Maybe they don't know.
No one told them that they won.
Has anyone told them that they won?
But like...
It was the inauguration, not give it away.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there was that whole that whole nonsense.
Is that repeat a lie often enough and Biden will not understand that he's the president?
Maybe. But yeah, I've seen a lot of people who've been very disillusioned, particularly with all the Democrats trying to fundraise rather than fucking fixing it now while they're in power currently.
Well, there's the midterms to think of.
Yeah, and like, I've seen a lot of people being like, why the fuck do we even bother voting? And I understand that impulse. I understand I understand the very defeatist attitude of what's the fucking point in voting, because there's no guarantee the people we vote in will actually fucking do anything.
Yeah.
But like, it's important to not get that defeated attitude in, because like, I think it's fair to say voting alone by itself will not fix everything, because you are relying on inherently shitty people to do the right thing.
Especially if you happen to live in a country with a two-party system.
Exactly. But like,
basically a two-party system.
But like, it's important to remember that as little as some of the shitty people are doing, it is still important to keep the worst people out.
Oh yeah.
Like, the second you start going, the party I want to do the right thing isn't doing enough, I don't believe in voting as a system, that's just going to let the people who will be more bold-faced about it back into power and let them be shitty.
Oh yeah, because be under no illusions, the fascists will always vote.
Yeah, that's the thing.
They always vote.
Exactly. Like, they will not get disillusioned by a loss. They will let it, rally them to get their team back in. And, like, it's a whole thing. But, like, yeah, I get it. Voting by itself ain't going to fix everything. But, like, you still need to vote. And you still need to engage in that process, even if just to lessen the worst of things. But, like, pair it with doing direct action, doing... other forms of action that will hold your party to account when they do get into power.
Yeah, and it's especially important for, less marginalised people to get that mindset as well. Because obviously, when we say this, we know very well that marginalised people have been doing exactly this and saying exactly this for decades.
It is a very privileged position, the people who are like, I'm just not even going to bother fucking voting anymore. It doesn't make a difference. That is a very privileged position to come from, obviously.
Yeah, and I can also understand, the frustration and exhaustion with minority groups who are like, you told us to vote, and we voted, and what fucking happens?
Yeah, well, that's it. It's as easy as it can be to be disillusioned with voting. You still got to do it. Just do it paired with other stuff.
Yeah.
Do it. And assume that the people elected into power aren't going to fucking actually do anything, but still get them in. And then fucking do other shit to counteract their lack of a fucking spine.
Whatever you can do, it's important that people are mobilising, more important now than ever. But Yeah.
We are living in interesting times.
We are. Yeah.
Hug, mate.
Yeah.
Good hug, mate. Good hug.
Yeah.
Right, I think I've got a podcast to edit.
Oh, you have a nap, I think.
Nice, nice.
Nice.
So, Laura,
Yes.
we done a book.
We done did a book.
And at this point, it's very possible, unless you are an early access backer, that we have already done a reveal of the book cover.
Look, if you're listening to the early access on Jane's Patreon the second it's gone up, it might not quite be there yet, but if you're listening, 24 hours after we record this, the final cover of the book will be revealed.
Yes.
Or by the time this goes up at the weekend for everyone else. Yeah, we got a redesign of that book cover, and it looks so good.
That's art by eBoy Art.
Yeah, they've done some real fancy pixel art.
Mm-hmm.
It looks real professional.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that. That's our book. It's gonna happen.
That's our book.
Yeah,
It's going to happen.
it's happening.
It's got a nice 3D render.
Yeah, right.
What if it was a book, not just a picture?
What if it was
Ooh.
not just a 2D image of a book, but a 3-dimensional model of a book?
Slightly skewed.
Ooh, perspective.
Mm.
What's the book and where can people find it?
It's called Who Hunts the Whale, and it is available at unbound.com/book/whale. You can pre-order it still. You can still get all the bundles with all the bits and stuffs and things. You can get a cool merch bundle, which is very similar to a merch bundle in the book, maybe. Can't say that. Yeah, you can go and get it. You can get your name in the book. There is still time. Probably not much time, I would imagine, because eventually it will go to press. But for now, you still have a bit of time, so get on it if you want to, and maybe tell other people about it. Maybe they want to, and maybe if they're into satirical views of the video game industry and jokes about T-Rexes and so
And
forth.
very relatable horses.
And a very relatable. I'm currently wearing a vest top that says a very relatable horse on it. And maybe that's something to do with the book. Who knows?
It makes me giggle every time I see that shirt.
I'm glad you enjoy it.
I do enjoy it.
It was worth this post. You thinking, like, maybe we should put that on a shirt. And me going, okay, I'll get it put on a shirt. And then now both of us owning that very shirt.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll turn up to a signing both wearing this shirt. I have also considered making Prophecy of Zebdo shirts.
I would love a Prophecy of Zebdo shirt. Oh.
Yeah, anyway. You've got a different book that's coming out in about 5-6 weeks.
Yeah, it's real soon. It's Me and My Dysphoria Monster. It's coming out on August 18th. That's like next month. It's real soon. Go check it out. Pre-order it. Go check it out where books are sold and stuff.
Yes.
Other than that, I'm at Laura K. Buzz in all the places. What about you, Jane?
Me, well, I couldn't get the unified branding like you, so I am at streamerlinks.com/slosh. Streamerlinks.com/Janiac, not slosh, not moist, not right now. Well, I am a bit sweaty, but you didn't need to know that. Anyway. JANEIAC. Also, patreon.com/stonedmonkeyradio. For as little as $1 a month, you can help me justify a 76-hour work week. You can get early access to Queer and Pleasant Strangers, as we said. You can find out all the other random stuff that I'm doing. You can listen to my musics over at Bedroom Programmer on SoundCloud. And I think that's pretty much everything. T-shirts, obviously. Janiac.redbubble.com, but also all on Streamer Links, don't worry about it. You can get a very relatable horse, which may or may not have anything to do with our book.
A very relatable horse.
Yeah, there's many other shirts. You can get the Wealth Inequality Solutions one. You can get the new Neuro Spicy one.
Oh, that's a good shirt.
I'm very glad I own that shirt now. You can get all of this stuff and more. Laura,
Yeah.
would you sing us out, please, darling?
Until next time, be a stranger.